This episode of Watchin' Stuff is sponsored by T-Blocks. Stay till the end to find out how you can support ToonGrin while getting your own limited edition Geek Culture t-shirt.
It's time for Christmas! Oh, that's right! Aw, come here!
Welcome to Watchin' Stuff, the show about watching stuff. I'm NERO, and with me is my Canadian counterpart, WHYBOY. And last week we spent the better half of a cast talking about Disney movies and how they do stuff better.
Yep, and also have ruined other animated movies.
So let's talk about a Disney movie. For those who don't know, for a few years now, Disney has sort of made a comeback with animated shorts. They've been doing a show that's called Mickey Mouse, and it's based off of this art style that's it's very stylized. It's kind of sort of homaging the old school slapstick Mickey Mouse cartoons that were made back in like Walt's time.
Yeah, the 30s and such.
Yeah. So they're playing with the idea of they're using all the like Walt Disney characters: Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, Pete, Daisy, Minnie, the triplets, and so on and so forth. Scrooge McDuck, and I've really been enjoying it. I know you have too. Where
yeah, it's like it brings back a lot of the old classic sort of styles of animation, like with more of an impact to everything. Like when you go into like the later years of Mickey Mouse cartoons, it was more, I don't want to say like sterilized in a sense, but it's definitely more like, oh, happy family fun times and all that.
It was friendly.
Yeah.
It was trying to, because Disney likes to fancy itself that, you know, it's family friendly and it cares about you. When that's bull, it's just a corporation that wants your money like any corporation. So, you know, it tries to build on that BS of brand loyalty where it's like, we're the family-friendly company that cares. No, you don't. You just want our money. At least be honest. Don't lie to me. So I kind of dig that they started doing this Mickey Mouse cartoon that's it's sort of got that Looney Tunes aesthetic charm where it has teeth in it.
Yeah. Like, especially for it, like, in terms of animation, it has the most out there animational facials, like, that you've seen in any sort of Disney cartoons. Like, Mickey Mouse has been the most animated he's ever been in any of his cartoons.
And this is Mickey's new voice actor, too, by the way.
Who's the new voice actor?
His name is Chris Diamantopoulos. It's a Greek last name.
Well, he's doing a great job. He really just brings out a much more neurotic Mickey Mouse. That's a lot more fun to listen to. Because the last sort of incarnation was sort of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And during that time, I know I was probably like super hard on it at the time, but it was just like, you're taking a cartoon that was already for a younger audience and basically limiting your audience again.
Well, like I've always felt, like Walt has such a rich collection of characters. Like I would argue, the characters that Walt and his team, probably more of his team, because I know that I think it's Irwin Works. It's been such a long time, but Walt had a partner.
Yeah.
That did like a lot of work that he doesn't get enough credit. The guy's like the Bill Finger to Bob Kane's Bob Kane. Like Bob Kane takes credit for Batman when in reality Bill Finger did a lot of the work.
Right. And Walt Disney was just more of the businessman while this guy actually designed Mickey Mouse and such.
It works. That's his name. UBIWERKS. It works. Yeah, he was he was American, but his name comes from, I think, it's from Germany, but it's like an offside of Germany, something called like Krumhorn or something like that.
Krumhorn. Like
it's a very foreign aesthetic name.
Definitely.
You know, and he was such a big part, and he helped create all these colorful characters. Like I would argue, you know, people remember stuff like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam, Foghorn Leghorn, you know, Sylvester, Tweety, Marvin the Martian. They remember all these Looney Tune characters, and people forget, like, because Disney's always really been about now, more than ever, they're pushing out movies to have new properties to then make into toys.
Yeah.
That it's like they forgot, like, you have such a rich stable of characters. Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Horace Horsecollar, Pete, Ludwig von Drake, Scrooge McDuck. They've had all these iconic characters, and they kind of just push them away, like, oh, well, we have nothing for this, as if to say, like, they can't work.
Yeah, when they so clearly do work. They worked for many, many years in the past, and now are working now, and they can't be toyetic and such, but oddly enough, this is one of the series, just like Gravity Falls and such, that took a long time for, like, a DVD to come out of it.
Do they only have the first season?
I believe so. Like, I have the first season of my collection, and I know you do as well, and it's just, that's the only season out right now.
Yeah, and there's going to be 4 seasons going on right now, and it's cool.
Oh, and they also did that thing when they released this Christmas episode and the Halloween episode onto a DVD.
Yeah, and we're setting this up because you guys need to know that there's this awesome show. It's just called Mickey Mouse. You can find it on YouTube. It actually has its own official channel.
Yeah, you can watch it all on there, and they're all free to watch, and all like 3 to 5 minutes sort of thing. So it's definitely worth your time.
Yeah, and if you're into plucky slapstick, like rascal-esque comedy, like the stuff you saw in Looney Tunes, it's here. And I like it because the thing is, I don't have a problem with Mickey being a good-hearted and charming, nice kind of guy character. I don't have a problem with it on a technical aspect. It's like Mario.
Yeah.
I like Mario, and Mario's kind and compassionate and all those great things, but like my charm goes more towards like Luigi, because Luigi I feel like is just more of a layered character. But the thing about with the Disney characters is there's such a wonderful balance with the character interaction, because like Mickey's charming and good-natured and kind, Donald's very aggressive and he's very temperamental, and Goofy is good-natured but clumsy.
Yeah.
And there's like a good counterbalance of emotion there.
Yeah, basically what Donald and Goofy had for a long time over Mickey was that their sort of character flaws were basically making the conflicts for them, where Mickey Mouse was just so lighthearted, so just sort of nice guy sort of thing, that it just sort of made him a little bit toothless in the past. Well,
I had heard originally the reason why Donald and Goofy were created is because their aspects were also in Mickey as a person, but I had heard, so take this at face value because, obviously the history kind of changes, I guess, depending on who's telling it, but I had heard that Walt didn't like that Mickey got angry or that Mickey got clumsy. He wanted Mickey to be clean.
Yeah.
And because, Mickey is the face of the corporation.
right.
So he wanted to get rid of any negative traits Mickey might have had. So then it's like, oh, well, now we have a duck that's really grumpy. And then we have a dog who's really clumsy. And I guess technically we're not supposed to like Donald and Goofy, but Donald and Goofy are way more engaging in personality than Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, really. So that's why, like, I went towards Donald, and who did you go towards more?
Oh, it was Donald. I was Donald Duck, man. I was a grumpy, angry little cuss.
Yeah.
I love Goofy,
love.
especially. No, well, I love Goofy, especially if you go back to those hilariously sexist cartoons, where it's like, he makes fun of his wife's driving, or
yeah,
or like, my baby's crying, so I go downstairs and instead of fixing him a bottle, I fix a martini to get hammered and then go back to sleep. Fuck my kid. that was the fun stuff. Is like, because it's got like sort of a little bit of teeth to it. It's the same thing like if you ever watch Looney Tunes. Like I've been watching some old school Looney Tunes episodes, and there's one really funny one where like Mickey Mouse is at a concert and he's a pianist and he's trying to play the piano, and this one guy keeps coughing. At one point, Bugs gets so fed up that he pulls a revolver out of his coat and just shoots the guy in the audience. Guy falls over dead, pockets revolver, goes back to playing the piano. And I kind of miss that because it's like, that with Teen Titans Go and the Powerpuff Girls, you could tell there is this sort of resurgence, even with like Justice League Action, there's a resurgence for this sort of high-octane action animated shows.
Well, in terms of like the Powerpuffs and Teen Titans Go, that's more the resurgence of the sort of thing, just like, we want it to be clean, sterile, fun sort of thing. where we can have like booty dancing and all that, because that's just
Yeah,
what the kids are these days.
Well, that's why I feel like something like, say, Teen Titans Go and Powerpuffs, they're trying too much to be contemporary instead of timeless.
Yeah.
Because it's like Teen Titans Go and that Powerpuff show both do twerking jokes.
Right.
No one cares about twerking anymore. You've dated that episode now horribly. There's literally a character in Powerpuff Girls that is like a Tumblr character, like a Tumblr meninist.
Yeah.
Talking down to the girls, and you're like, wow, that's going to become dated so quickly. Whereas, like, the Disney ones, this Mickey Mouse show, everything's very timeless. Like, Mickey goes on vacation with Minnie, and you see, like, they just want to chill on a vacation, but they have the VIP pass. So the people who work on the boat are like, oh, you need to try everything because you paid for the VIP experience. When all Mickey and Minnie want to do is they just want to chill out. They want to sit back and recline, get some sun, and that's it. And slapstick comedy ensues. Or, like, Mickey wants to enter a three-legged race, like the annual three-legged race competition. And he's like, oh, Minnie, this is going to be fun. And Minnie's like, yeah, I don't want to do this with you because I want to win.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't team up with Daisy. She's a cheater. And it's like, yeah, but she's also a winner.
Yeah.
and the big funny joke is like, Mickey wants to compete and he wants to have fun. And, you know, he doesn't have a partner, so he gets teaming up with Pete. And Pete's like the biggest cheater of them all. And I love the fact that, like, Pete's got his peg leg back. So it's like old school Pete. And he actually looks like a fucking cat.
Yeah, it works for that. And I especially like the show because it gets definitely experimental. Like that one episode where Mickey Mouse is sort of a yodeler in the Himalayas. Where it's like primarily almost like a silent episode. Yeah, where he has to stay quiet or the avalanche will come down and basically kill everybody.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like that's timeless.
Yeah,
it's not trying to use current contemporary pop culture to try and be funny. And the thing is, Teen Titans is funny when it's like pulling on stuff from DC history. Like there's a really funny episode where Robin is showing the Titans around Wayne Manor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like showing them all these things, and he's like, this is where Michael Keaton had an awkward dinner conversation with an actress, and it's that first Tim Burton movie. And he's like, and here are the robot penguins from that really weird Tim Burton movie. And then he goes outside to a dumpster, and it's like, and here are the costumes of Val Kilmer and George Clooney. And before everyone goes inside, Cyborg looks at the garbage and he's at it and lights it on fire, and then they all go inside. And it's funny because if you're a pop culture fan and you understand how many people hate the Joel Schumacher Batman Forever and Batman and Robin movie, that joke is funny to you. There's like a scene where like they show the top of the fireplace.
Right.
And it's like, you know, top of the fireplace, that's where you keep all your fun knickknacks.
Mm-hmm.
On the fireplace, they have a crowbar next to the urn that holds the ashes of Jason Todd, who was the Robin that was beaten to death by the Joker with a crowbar.
Wait, where was this? Like, what show was this in? Was this in Justice League Action or Teen Titans Go?
Teen Titans Go.
Wow, I sort of had a feeling that Teen Titans Go was actually much more cleverly written than a lot of people let it on to be. There's
some humor. Okay, this is again the thing. They have like an episode called Waffles, where they say waffles for 11 minutes. It's not funny, but when they pull from like their history, it can be really hilarious.
Yeah,
because that's the timeless stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But when they
the waffle stuff is basically just the sort of like the now stuff. Just like, we gotta be random.
Yeah, like random lol, isn't that great? It's the same reason why I can't enjoy the new Powerpuffs. Because it felt like it was such a shame of like, oh, we need to create like all new villains for them. They have a rich, huge rogues gallery. Mojo Jojo. My personal favorite is him.
Yeah.
You know, the Amoeba Boys. The Gangrene Gang. You have all these colorful villains you could play with from their rogues gallery. And then it's like, yeah, we have to create all new OCs for them.
And it's just like, why?
Why? Yeah, why? What's the point? And it's not that I'm against creativity, and I know there are going to be some people that's like, oh, so you don't want them to try new things. No, new shit's great. It'd be awesome if they had some cool new villains. But this isn't the same like the Powerpuff Girls that previously came before it. This stuff is trying to be really awkward and topical. Like, what was it? Like that weird unicorn episode?
Yeah.
That got like a ton of backlash?
Like, it's supposed to be sort of like a parallel to like transvestites and such.
Yeah, like,
a
oh,
weird
it's about
thing.
trans people. And like, the thing is, I had heard the studio said that because they wanted it to be topical, but I heard that the writers who worked on it were like, it was just some random goofy episode with a unicorn. That's all it was supposed to be. But like, CN was like, no, well, look how caring, because we're the corporation that cares. And it's like, yeah, see, this is what I mean. This is that weird falsehood of corporations I keep talking about.
Yeah, if they just focus on actually the creation of the product rather than just being like, oh, we gotta make a total message with this every single time to basically have the bottom line, then these shows would actually be a lot more well liked. Like, people wouldn't care about Teen Titans Go being on for like hours on end because now all people can think about is just like stuff like the booty joke and such.
Yeah, that's why I watch something like Justice League Action, and I could really get into it because all it is cool superhero. It's like celebrating DC. Like, here's a really cool Batman episode. Here's some cool stuff with the Joker versus the Riddler. Here's a great episode where Lex Luthor is, well, just being Lex Luthor, but he's hilariously manipulating other villains just so he can get what he wants. And they're timeless because they're not trying to be in the here and now. And that's what I love about this Mickey Mouse show is that it's just trying to be timeless. It's just trying to have slapstick comedy. It's trying to make you just laugh for like 5 minutes.
And like each episode is basically just a condensed version of basically a portion of the world sort of thing. Like just a three-legged race, Romania, the Himalayas, all those sort of places. It's just self-contained, like just crunchy little things that basically you can just take in and just like, oh, that's a funny thing. Like like every single episode isn't like a hit out of the park sort of thing. Like if I were going to go compare this Christmas episode to the Halloween episode we watched, like there's a definite contrast in sort of the writing quality and such. But we can go into more of that as we discuss more of the Christmas episode, because I feel it's a very enlightening sort of comparison between the two of them, because they're both holiday specials. They were both really bigly advertised like before they were released, but one of them's clearly better than the other one.
Yeah, and I think the thing is about the Christmas one called Duck the Halls. First off, I love the premise. The idea that it's like, it's Christmas time, and if you know things about animals, ducks migrate for the winter because they can't handle the intense cold. So the fact that like Donald Duck has never experienced Christmas, it's very cute and charming. Because like all of his friends are getting together at Mickey's house, and it's Mickey and Minnie and Goofy, and they're decorating, they're all having fun, and Donald's so excited because he's never experienced actual Christmas before. And then you have the counterbalance to that, which is that
Daisy just walks on in and just like, oh, wow, this is nice. Well, we gotta go. Yeah,
like I like the fact that Daisy is the kind of girlfriend that's clearly high maintenance, where it's like, I don't give a fuck about any of this family shit and this togetherness garbage. I want to go where it's warm, night. Fuck this holiday nonsense. I'm outie. That's what it feels like, and I like that.
Yeah, it's definitely much more raw character. That's a little bit more mean and such, but basically really just sort of rounds out the whole cast, rather than all of them just being like, oh wow, we're all so nice and happy.
Yeah, we all love Christmas, and Christmas is great, and that's all it should ever be. Hurrah, hurrah. And it's like, I like the fact that it's like everyone's very different. Like, Mickey adores it.
Yeah.
He adores it, and it's always funny because I really love the animation in this, where like he gets like really funny perverted faces in some scenes.
Oh, the faces for Mickey have always been my favorite part for me. But definitely Donald in this episode got the best faces out of the whole bunch.
Well, because I would argue, in terms of what this movie is, it's like it's a short Christmas special. I think it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's 22 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a typical episode you'd expect. And the thing I like about it is that it's Donald's special, technically. Like, it's from that Mickey Mouse cartoon, and it's got like the old school like Technicolor opening, but it's totally a Donald Duck cartoon, and you get such good slapstick and humor from the character interaction. And everybody does what you expect them to do in terms of how they're defined as characters. Like, Donald's overly ambitious and excited because this is all new to him. Even though it's not healthy for him to be here in the cold and doing these things, he doesn't care. He'll put himself at, basically, he'll almost kill himself in order to enjoy this holiday.
Yeah.
I like the part where his beak falls off and he duct tapes it back onto his face.
Yeah, then you have Goofy being clumsy and blunt with everything. All of his sort of jokes just come all across. Donald comes up to him looking all sickly and such, and Goofy comes out with hot cocoa. He's just like, "Wow, Donald, you look like death. I want a nice hot cup of cocoa."
Yeah, and then he drinks it, and Donald starts screaming. He goes, "It's hot."
Friend is just on fire.
Yeah, it's I like Goofy because he's so deadpan.
Yeah, and you wouldn't expect that from a Goofy character because all the other times that we see Goofy portrayed, he's the most over the top, always the one that's smashing into things and everything.
Yeah, I expected him to be a lot more slapsticky because that's kind of what the name, Goofy.
Yeah, but
you expect him to be like that.
Yeah, but in this series, if we're talking about the whole show, he's definitely one of those deadpan characters. He does go over the top sometimes, in the episode where he's sleep running throughout the whole city. That's his big Goofy sort of smashing into things, just slapstick and such. But when he wakes up, it's just oh, well, deadpan reaction.
Yeah, or there's the swimming hole episode that we love, where he's very over the top and he's like, "Mick! Pite's stealing the whole dang swimming hole," as Pete picks up the entire hole and leaves with it in the back of his truck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just strong like that because now there's much more of a balance with everything rather than in the Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse where there was just more a flat line with all the characters. They were all just nice.
Yeah, and the thing that kind of sucks about it's funny because I know people can be like, "Oh, but I'm such an advocate for Superman being nice." And it's yeah, but the thing is, you could have Superman just being a nice person if the Justice League's around him, because then you have a contrast of personalities that all play off of each other. You have the stern paranoia of Batman, or you have the boisterous, combat-ready attitude of Aquaman, or, the compassionate but stern leadership attitude of Wonder Woman. And that works.
Yeah.
Because the characters have to balance when they're all interacting with each other. Imagine if you watched Frozen and there's only Olaf.
That would be the worst.
That'd be fucking annoying. But his character works better because of his interaction with people, his interaction with Anna, his interaction with Kristoff. That's why you have those really funny moments where it's he's walking and he's talking to Anna and Kristoff, and then he walks through an icicle and he goes, "Oh, look at that. I've been impaled."
Yeah, that's funny
hilarious.
Joke.
Yeah. Because there's being able to play off characters. It's the same logic. It's a basic rule of comedy. Is that you need straight men, and you need the ones that intentionally do the punchlines.
Yeah, there's definitely those two main sectors, but what most writers, most bad writers, don't really realize that they can split off into different sort of straight men and funny guys. Yeah,
well, that's why I feel Teen Titans Go doesn't work. Because I've told you this before, I am not a huge fan of Teen Titans. You love the show. I watched it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. But the reason why the comedy was so brilliant in the original Teen Titans show is that everybody was different. Robin was the straight-laced, stoic leader. He was very clean-cut. He was all about, working hard on the mission. He was very much the Batman of the group.
Starfire was the bubbly, just sort of full of life sort of character, just not understanding Earth and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, she doesn't understand culture. She's gleefully ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's an alien. She doesn't know how. That's why it's she drinks a huge bottle of mustard. Yeah, she doesn't know that's a condiment, not a drink. But to her, it tastes really good, so she drinks it. That's funny. Raven is dry, sardonic. It's that comical blandness where she's very dry about everything she says.
Yeah, the moments where she does show a little bit more emotion, it's a little bit more of a shock to the system, which makes it a lot more funny.
Yeah, that's why it's such a big deal when she acts out of character in that show, because it's going against her archetype. Beast Boy is a dude bro.
Yeah.
He's all fun and energetic, and he likes to hang out with everybody. And then Cyborg is the big brother.
Yeah.
He's got the maturity of Robin, but he's got a little bit of the comic of Beast Boy, and he's nicely in the middle. He's the nice bridge between those two kind of archetypes. But then you get to Teen Titans Go. Everybody's over the top. Everybody's loud. the personalities aren't defined anymore. Like, Raven isn't dry and sardonic anymore. She's just like the rest of them. They all have basically one personality.
Yeah, and that
And
just
it
sort of
doesn't work
ruins
for
any sort of
comedy.
that ruins the comedy. There's no sort of conflict between like the archetypes. Basically, make any sort of comedic sort of jokes that basically last a long time. All you can get is like the big rant of just waffles.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like comedy. The treat to it is that everybody's different. This goes as far back as like the Three Stooges.
Yeah,
You know, Mo is the grumpy stoic leader. Curly is the clumsy goof off, and Larry really is like pretty much the calm middleman. Like, he's pretty much the most level-headed of the...
right.
And that works for comedic gold.
Yeah, and just going back to make the Dr. Halls, like you see all the characters going about that. Like when you go back to the duck side of the story, where Donald basically runs away from the ducks, to basically celebrate Christmas with Mickey in the game.
As he runs around naked through like the city.
Well, before that, we have the three nephews who are just acting as their three identical selves, acting as sort of like, oh, we just want to torture mind. Donald.
The hive. It's so funny now because we have DuckTales. So when we see like the triplets that show up in this, we're just like sitting there with this sad, morose look on our faces, like, aw. They're so much better in DuckTales.
They're the hive mind again. Like, they're not deep characters in DuckTales or anything. But
they're still defined a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just a hive mind of basically little troublemakers.
Yeah, it's just one it really is, when you get down to it, the old school, like, triplets, it's just one character with three bodies.
Yeah. Then you got Scrooge McDuck and, McQuack.
Ludwig von Drake.
Yeah, Ludwig von Drake. Like, both of them are just their typical selves. Scrooge is all money hoarding and all that. And von Drake is just basically crazy.
This is a crazy scientist, yeah.
Yeah, each one of them is different and brings their own bout of comedy to the situation, as they're all waiting for Donald in their own individual ways.
Yeah, and really, all you need to know, because the way this special setup is, it's like the Mickey Mouse cartoon, but elongated for 22 minutes as opposed to the 5. And really, it's just a bunch of nice slapstick comedy, the idea that Donald's trying to celebrate Christmas with his friends, and he's putting himself at risk to enjoy this holiday with his buddies.
And that just makes it the most endearing sort of episode out of the whole bunch. Just for that one fact that he's basically almost killing himself to really celebrate Christmas with his friends.
Yeah. And I also like that there's so many mature jokes that... Like there's like references to like A Midsummer Night's Dream and Once Upon a Wintertime, Babes in Toyland. There's the Stephen King one. There's like the Shining reference.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're an adult, you'll appreciate these little things.
Yeah, even as a kid though, you can still recognize just like, oh, those are just two creepy girls. What are they doing here?
Yeah. Like, I think even Donald says, doesn't he? No, Mickey, because like when Mickey's explaining, he does this great origin story bit where he talks about his childhood, and he's like, Father used to give me a farthing so I could go down to the store to pick up a stick of peppermint. And it's like him and baby Pluto, and they're on a sled going down, and everyone's like, hi there, Mickey. And it's like the 1800s, and you're like, what year was Mickey born in, actually? And then it's like, it cuts to modern day, and he's like, Christmas is great. And you're like, wait, how old is Mickey?
Yeah, and then Daisy's in the background just like, Then he just pops down Christmas fantasy. He's like, no, Christmas is fine, Donald. Why did you just go off now?
Yeah, and I like the idea that, you know, they want to go down. And like any Christmas special, it hits on, like, there is a moral to it. Because Donald felt like, I didn't get to celebrate Christmas with you guys like I wanted to. And Santa Claus, because Santa Claus shows up, as he should, he explains to them, it's like, you know, the thing about Christmas is, you could have it anywhere. It really is the Dr. Seuss lesson.
Right.
It's not about the presents and the tinsel and the decorations. It's not even about winter. You could the thing and beauty of Christmas is you could celebrate caring about the people you love anywhere.
You can celebrate the giving. You can celebrate the togetherness. That is just a concept that can be celebrated all over the world, whether you have snow or not.
And I like that. I think that's always a beautiful notion.
It really is. So, what would you rate this special, Nero?
Oh, this is the highest honor. Must see.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wish we started adding other like rewards.
Like we can just say like this is definitely a must see for me, but basically we can just label it just a Christmas classic, ToonGrin Christmas classic. This is something
the ToonGrin like certification of like authenticity.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like it's one, you know, the highest honor because it is great. First off, I love this Mickey Mouse cartoon. You love this Mickey Mouse cartoon. We've been enjoying it so much because and this goes back to the whole thing with Disney Infinity that I've talked to you about.
Yeah.
Where I've said to you, like, I can't believe this game came out, and all they used it was as a marketing tool for any properties they got. Because it was like the first time when they were doing the first wave of toys, it was like, Frozen and Lone Ranger. What movies do we have coming out? And it's like, but you have all these iconic characters. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Pete. Why aren't we using these characters to get toys? And it's like, whatever movie comes out. Then they did Alice in Wonderland. They did, Here's the Giant Mad Hatter. What about the fucking Mad Hatter you have? Like the famous one with the teacup ride and shit.
Yeah, it's just stupid like that because they already have these toyetic characters that they could basically bank off of, but they just sort of push them aside for all the new stuff. But now that we have this show, this special and such, and it shows you don't need all that toyetic bullshit of all the new stuff. You have the basis to basically make something wonderful, and you can go off on that.
That's the thing that gets me is like, I feel like one of the things I hate about it's not even just Disney. I hate Warner Brothers about this too. You have Looney Tunes, and you don't really do shit with them. Like, you had a good Looney Tunes show. You had the Looney Tunes show. And I know a lot of people that loved it. And then you canceled it because one of the big things that was reported was, this takes too much effort to write 22-minute stories. So they canceled it. They made Wabbit, which was like they were going back to the slapstick comedy of like old school Looney Tunes. But then they said, we don't want to have Bugs playing with like Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam. So they started creating these random OCs for him to play with. Which, who the fuck cares? We want to see Elmer Fudd. We want to see Yosemite Sam. We want to see Foghorn Leghorn. And we want to see Daffy Duck. And it got so bad that the negative reception of Wabbit resulted in them making season 2. They changed the title now to The New Looney Tunes. And they added all the fucking characters.
Like, is it any better as the new Looney Tunes?
No, it's actually worse. Because Daffy Duck is fucking annoying as shit in the show.
Yeah, and I originally just saw the original season of Wabbit, and I was just like, wow, this is just watered down Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
I know you were much nicer to it in the past, and I was just all like, no, if I'm going to watch Looney Tunes, I want to watch the stuff that's actually good quality. I don't want to watch, like, bland Looney Tunes.
No, it'd be like if I offered you, like, a delicious glass of, like, apple juice, and I just started pouring water into it, and I said, okay, say when, and by the time I finally stopped, you're just like, you've diluted my apple juice so much, I just have water with maybe a mild apple flavor to it at the end.
Like, there you go, then. You asked for it.
There you go, enjoy, shithead.
I didn't ask for water in my freaking apple juice.
You're welcome. That's the thing. Is like you have so many of these cool characters for both companies. It's the same thing with Nintendo, where I've sat here and I've been like, how does Nintendo not have like cartoons? Like, how is there no animes?
Yeah, it
of
seems
Nintendo
very
properties. It's like Legend of Zelda, action adventure, sword and sorcery, Mario Brothers, highfalutin fantasy. Metroid, high-end sci-fi Star Wars. You have all these fucking properties, and it's like, we got games. That's it? Not even like manga? Like, how is it you don't have like a manga division producing manga of this content?
Yeah, like just spreading out your stuff to stuff that clearly has an audience behind it. Like, you even in the past, even though those really crappy Legend of Zelda and Mario shows, they still became cult classics and such that basically everyone still talks about. If
you go back and watch the old Legend of Zelda cartoon, the whole excuse me princess memes aside, it captured old school Legend of Zelda though. It was a high-end action adventure show about an elf boy who fights a fucking pig.
Yeah, so it can work. They just did it. They did it well. They just had to move the excuse me princess thing.
You know what the thing is? The excuse me princess thing? It's not that it doesn't work. It can be very funny, but They turned it up to like 11 for without any, like, it really didn't need to be every episode. He didn't really need to say the damn thing.
Yeah, but they did one of the catchphrase sort of thing, because
Yeah.
definitely in those days, it's the toyetic sort of mindset. Make a catchphrase, make the character designs look unique. Do that.
It's like Ninja Turtles.
Right.
You know, heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, which is still awesome, actually. They even did, when they did the new show, actually, the 2012 Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
the people in charge said they didn't want catchphrases. And the guy who plays Mikey, Greg Sipes, who's the voice of Michelangelo, he's the voice of Beast Boy from Teen Titans.
Yeah.
He, on his own, in an episode, Mikey just says, Booyakasha. and that became the fucking catchphrase in that show.
And the writers were just like, God damn it.
It's like, oh, fuck, they have a catchphrase. And it's like, but that's part of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they're just corny like that. Like, if you just, like, going back to Mickey Mouse and such, like, if you just held on to what the core concept of these characters are, there's a strong core there that you can use to basically make a whole bunch of stuff.
I feel like with any of these properties, Mickey Mouse, Looney Tunes, the Justice League, like in action, and Teen Titans, you need to not be ashamed of the core of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, like, the best way I've always described Ninja Turtles is, in the 80s, it was treated as a joke.
Right.
In 2003, it was taken way too seriously.
Super serial.
Yeah, because you don't understand. This is, like, serious and dramatic. Motherfucker, your show is called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They fight a guy called the Shredder, who's named after kitchen utensils. I got news for you. You need to understand that with some grain of salt, this shit is stupid.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Yeah, it's just sort of the idea of you can have fun with these characters. You don't have to constantly think of, like, oh my god, what are we going to make these sort of toyetic things? Like, what's going to go around for it? Because sometimes the simplest answer is usually the most effective one.
Yeah, well, because, again, when you do something where it's, like, simplistic, there is a sense that it could become timeless.
Yeah.
And, that's why we have archetypes. They work. That's why they exist. Like, if you ever watch, like, Avatar, Aang is happy-go-lucky, Katara is the heart, Sokka is the cynic. These archetypes work. That's why they exist in, like, narrative.
Yeah, even when you go back to, like, stereotypes, these stereotypes have stayed around because they are recognizable. They have stuck with us. Sure, there are offensive stereotypes, but the stereotypes, like going back to if we go to The Simpsons and such, like, we know basically all the characters just by seeing our eyeballs with them. We can see what their character's all about just by how they look at and how they act.
Yeah, it's, Ned is very straight-laced. Homer is good intentioned, but a bumbler. Bart is, the sassy action, the little bad boy. Lisa's the know-it-all. And that's the thing, is that what I love about something like Duck the Halls, and by extension this Mickey Mouse cartoon, is we're allowed to enjoy all these cool characters.
And they're able to finally have basically personalities that basically can just hit hard with the conflicts of each episode.
I really hope that, and I doubt it'll happen, but I would like if Disney pulled their butt out of their ears and would just do an animated feature-length film in theaters with the Mickey Mouse characters, with Mickey and Donald and Goofy and Daisy and Pete.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see that if they ever got around to see that. But that's
because you could set them. The thing about these characters, you could set them in any kind of setting. Like there's that Three Musketeers one. There's a comic in Italy that is like D&D, but with the Mickey Mouse characters.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. But yeah, you can literally place them in any sort of setting, and they do work.
Yeah, you could put them in outer space and do like a cool, like. Did you ever see the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special?
I saw clips of that, but I want to see the full thing. But I know like the key beats of it.
Yeah, like you could do something like that with Mickey Mouse's cast of characters.
Yeah, it can
work.
work.
The Phantom Blot easily could be like a Darth Vader stand-in. It's so easy. They have all the pieces to the puzzle, and it's like the company's too stupid to put the pieces together.
Or they're just too afraid to basically make those sort of decisions because
if any company could afford to be risky? It's fucking Disney!
Yeah, especially when they're going to like merge with, I believe it was 20th Century now to basically make an even bigger company.
It's not going to be a merger. They're just buying the Marvel shit back from those guys. I guarantee, the whole thing for the longest time is like Fox is holding their shit hostage, and Disney's like, well, if we can't buy the properties back, we'll just buy you back.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh look, we own the X-Men, we own Deadpool. I hope they don't fuck up my Deadpool.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a shit what they do with the X-Men.
Yeah, we want to keep Deadpool good.
Yeah. But, oh God, so, yeah, let's wrap this up.
We've been going on for a long time talking about like a whole bunch of other stuff rather than Duck at the Halls.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a passion behind this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, because we were able to see a cartoon where it's like, hey, look, you could do a cartoon, and yeah, it's like, 5-minute vignettes of just slapstick comedy with the characters, but it's like, oh shit, it's nice to see that this sort of way of doing things has made a comeback, because have you ever noticed it kind of disappeared for a long time?
It definitely did, and just for a long time, like it would just be like a 22-minute cartoons, and just over time, like people at the beginning usually really liked them, but when then all the animation studios basically got on the same bandwagon, thus you would get like the watered down versions of it, and a lot of just like all the episodes just basically just cramming down your throats, and you gotta make them faster and faster.
It's like there was a shame. It's like there is a shame that came to it. Because then, like, we've all gotten to the idea where it's like, oh, when we watch something, it needs to have a narrative purpose. There needs to be a goal at the end of this race. And it's like, dude, it's entertainment. Not everything needs to have, like, a big end goal. Sometimes it's fun just to stop and enjoy the flowers.
Yeah, there is supposed to be, like, the sort of the beat-to-beat sort of thing. Like, I talked in, like, the Schmelvin Blorvin sort of watching stuff. Like, there are sort of, like, ways you can be experimental with your animation and such. But it's all about knowing what your core concept is and basically running with that. If you don't, like, if you're too afraid to basically explore your core concept to its fullest, it's just going to end up watered down. Yeah, and that's the thing is that I think it's weird where Disney's like, oh, we're kind of afraid at maybe the idea of doing a full-fledged Mickey Mouse movie. That's a pretty big risk. And it's like, yeah, but you can afford to take risks. Because at the end of the day, if a movie does bad for you, how much does it really affect the bottom line? Didn't Zootopia and Frozen break $1 billion each? They sure did. So they could just basically make almost 3 other movies on top of both those movies and still break even. Yeah, and the thing is, those other like projects don't give them the same budget you would give like a Frozen or a Zootopia. Hell, that's why I love Captain Underpants too, because it's like, oh, you're like what, $35 million? So you've proven we don't have to celebrate excess with animated movies for some reason, or it's like, oh man, but Frozen cost us like so much money. Yeah, but is it really necessary? Yeah, it's not. You can do it on just that sort of like small condensed budget and still make a quality product. And hopefully with Captain Underpants' success, Disney has now taken a note of that. Can see like, haven't. Well, I'm just going to be optimistic, sort of. Okay, that's fair. Because if we're going to talk about bottom line sort of thinking, they're thinking like, wow, we can make that sort of quality movies on a lower budget and our big budget movies and make twice the money. It's the same thing like Boss Baby. That was a low budget. That's why I love Deadpool, because it's like Deadpool had a budget of like $57 million and it made 9 times its budget back. Yeah. And then you look over and it's like, Justice League. Warner Brothers are declaring it. Wow, this did not do at all as good as we wanted. And it's like, well, yeah, you threw $300 million in there. It wasn't going to make that budget back. Well, you spent so much fucking money. Of course it's not going to be an investment. Yeah. Idiots. But come on. But that's watching stuff, guys. That's it's kind of like the nature of the beast, Hopefully, people will realize that it's not the amount of money you throw at a project; it's the amount of heart you put into it. Exactly. So, as always, guys, if you want to support us, you can hit up Patreon, you can hit up our TeePublic,
both of them, that money gets funneled back into us. You can obviously go over to T-Blocks. T-Blocks is an awesome site that does all sorts of cool pop culture shirts for like one-offs a month. You can get stuff from even like old school like conventions that have passed by. And by using our code, what's our code, WHYBOY?
Our code is ToonGrinTBX, and if you put that into checkout, you can get 10% off your purchase. 10%. For $12.99 a month, that's a pretty good deal.
$12.99 a month's good for pop culture shirts, and I know because I spend that kind of money. Yeah. I love pop culture shirts. I have all sorts. I got Deadpool shirts. I got Joker shirts. I got Penguin from Batman. I got all sorts of shirts. Got some anime shirts. It's great.
Yeah, so maybe order something now and get it for the new year coming on up.
Yeah, and always remember, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell. You need to get that notification so you know when we update. We update every Friday with the new Watchin stuff, unless something happens to us.
The ducks are coming. The ducks are going to stab me.
Oh, there you go. They're just going to stab you. With that, guys, as always,
be sure to tune in.
Oh, are you doing it now? Are you doing the sign-off?
Yeah, I'm going to do the sign-off.
Fine. Go ahead.
Be sure to tune in.
Yeah. Yeah, be sure to tune in.
Yeah, to ToonGrin.
Yeah, to ToonGrin.
Quack. And Merry Christmas.
Ducks rock!